Right, I've got the two springs off that came off there. They were pretty hard to get off, as you can imagine. Quite a lot of force in them. Hold on, sorry. There you go. Let's put that on. So bit of extension on them, but they came off eventually with a bit help of a bit of wire and a few pairs of pliers. So just going to undo all this lot, see if I can get at the bit underneath there. Bring you back in a little second. Okay, and flash on again. I've got two of the bolts undone. Just going to undo this third one, and then we'll see what carnage lies underneath. What sort of lovely bits did they provide us with? You ready? Oh, wow! Oh my gosh, that's the little bolt that was holding it. Right, absolutely nothing to it. So that's the bit that's broken. And that's the kind of part that was on the other side of it. So that was just on the other side, probably, well, it wasn't even, it's just resting on this. There's no, doesn't make sense at all. Must have been, oh yes, so that bit there is to go into that, is to kind of sit against that little ledge. Not sure what for, but anyway, it's for centering of some sort. So right, just going to see now, can I rescue this shaft? I don't know, I've got to try and emery it down or something in size. I've no lathe or anything to put it in, so just going to try and take it down in size a bit. It's pretty hardened as well. And what was I going to try and do? Oh yeah, and then grease it up and put it back in here. The reason being, I've got a job to finish here, and I don't have time to cook. These won't be in the shop anymore. I'm damned if I'm going to out to buy another bandsaw at this stage. So I'm going to see if I can get this thing going again, and at least get the job done. So onward and upward. Let's see if I can rescue this thing. So this is the shaft with the circlip and stuff removed. You can see some little shadows of movement on there, where it's kind of been rotated for part of the thing before it's seized. Anyway, the problem I've got now is that of course the stud is broken off inside there, so I'm just going to try and get a Dremel cutting disc and see if I can cut into that shaft and make a slot in it, and then I can remove it with a screwdriver. If not, it'll have to be drilled out. There we go. Job done. That's that little bit anyway. I didn't manage to get much of a slot cut in it. It's only wrong end. There's only a tiny slot. That's all I could reach in with, but I just got out a couple of threads and then just managed to get the pliers onto it. So that's that bit done. Right now I've got to find another screw. Well, I'll have another screw there to mount that into, I don't know, mount it into the I'll probably mount it into the vertical drill, the pillar drill, and then see if I can emery off a little bit, enough to make it slide, a sliding fit into this. I don't really have anything to hone this out with, so we'll try and bring this down if I can. Yeah, I think that's all I can do. Here we are now. We've got the thing mounted on the shaft. Seems to run true enough, but my problem is now that this is going to be a hardened shaft, and I don't really have anything to aggressive to take it down with. I've no lathe, no nothing else that I can think of. Emery paper is the only thing I can try and attack it with. I've nothing else that would grind it in an even fashion. Yeah. Anyway, wish me luck. As you say, we can only try it and see what we get. Well, oh sorry, hard to see from that angle. I'm going this way. So not a lot to see there, but it's funny. You can see it's kind of shown up a little bit just with the emery paper. But interestingly, I can now slide this on at least part the way. You see that? So that went on. Oh, whoops. So that's it's making a little bit of a difference. If I keep going at that and keep taking wee bits off it, we might just get somewhere. That's the hope. Well, I guess I am some sort of genius. Not really a genius. There's nothing really that hasn't been done before, but yeah, that's a nice fit now. There's even a tiny little bit of a rattle in that. So you see that? So I'm going to get some grease into that, put it back together with a bolt, and see if we can get it to cut some metal. Success? Well, not success yet. We'll see. I'll get there. But that's a good fit now. It's a much better fit. Now, this is it. This is it back together again with the bolt in the back of it. Proper bolt, good bolt. And it's Loctited into place. And now you can see that it slides in and out of there. So now this bit here, this bit here, now I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on this and put all the fibre washers and try and reconstruct all this thing back together again. The difficulty is going to be trying to put all this back in here again because the two springs are going to be fighting me all the way. These two big things. Nightmare. Anyway, we'll get there. I promise. Okay, we've got to try and extend these springs a little bit. So I've got a bunch of washers here, and I'm just going to take these ones here and stuff them into, bend this over, stuff the springs in, and try and extend the spring. Need to get about 8 to 10 millimeters on this. So I'll try 8 of these in here. I'm not sure if that'll give me, probably won't give me the 8. I'll probably have to put 16 in. Anyway, I will keep pushing it until I get this thing so that I can just pull it straight onto the mechanism on the other end. Then I'll pull these out with the pliers. Okay, bring it back in a second because I can't do it one-handed. Welcome to sketchydesigns.com. Actually, that might be an actual name. Oh right, okay. So I need to extend this spring. It is already extended a little bit. I've just extended it a little bit, but I've just went off to find a some sort of thing to try and anchor it should this bit come off. It's dug into that end there, and it's, even though it's only a cross point, it doesn't fit down the axis, so it shouldn't actually slip out through. But you never know what can go wrong. This is just a bit of bull wire that I've twisted, hung around a couple of washers, and that'll slip if it starts to slip. The idea is that I need to get about 20 millimeters extension out of this. So the idea is, if you watch it creep, I slowly extend the spring. I've got a jam nut in the end here, but I can take that off if I need the extra extension. So I'm just doing this in the vise here. I'm just going to go and get, I haven't got too much tension on it just yet, but I'm going to go and get my face shields, gloves, all that sort of thing on. Stored up energy in the spring is not a laughing matter. So whenever I get it close to the right dimensions, it's got to go to about here. Whenever I get it close to that, I'll be able to take it over to the back to the bandsaw and try and fit it in place. I managed to get one on. Let me just show you that. Hold on a second. I'll just pause you and bring you back. Here we go. Right, so there's the other one on. But because this is a kind of cantilever, it's pulled that round. Now this only needed about 8 or 10 millimeters extension, and I did that by jamming some washers in between here, in between the leaves of the spring, until I got it close enough I could just use a screwdriver to pull it across. But you can actually see where I've dug into the metal down here on various attempts to try and stretch it a little bit further than I should have done maybe. The only thing is now that this has pulled this lever around that way, which means that this one, instead of needing about 8 or 10 millimeters, needs about 18 to 20 of stretch. So I needed to have something that was a little bit more controllable, shall we say. So the bolt that I've got over there, I'll bring you back to that. Hold on a second. Pause. The bolt here is long enough that it'll fit. I can hold it upside down and it'll fit inside the thing, so I should be able to slip both ends of this spring on and let off the tension and then cut through this thing if I can't get it off any other way. That was the idea of the likes of a bull wire or whatever else, something expendable. So yeah, wish me luck, because this is a bit sketchy. Let me go and get my safety gear on. I'll bring you back whenever it's done, or from my hospital bed. This is sketchy. I'm right up a couple of threads from the end. I'm not even sure that thing would hold it, because it's just going to go shooting off the end if it did. If it lets go with that end, it's just going to go like a bullet basically. So yeah, I think that's at the right stretch now, so I'm just going to take it over and try it. Can you believe it? It worked. Let's try and show you. I haven't got it into place just yet. I have. It's just on the end of the thing there. Can you see? So I'm just going to let the tension off now. I won't do that on camera because I need two hands. Sketchy. Help. Right, so the spring is on. The spring is on, and it's now got its. I'm pulling this lever at the side here for doing the extension and whatever else. So this is now. That mechanism is all working fine. I've just got to retract all these washers and stuff that I was using on the machine there a second ago. 1, 2, there's a third one under there. I'll see if I can dig that out with a magnet or something in a minute. And then just going to cut this off. That should be that mechanism back in its rightful place again. I can start reconstructing the other bit on top here, bit of grease and all the rest of it. We'll show you that in a minute. That just shows you how used to kind of larger bearings and axles and stuff that I am, that my tongue depressor stick for applying the grease is too big to fit into the thing here. But I have a little coffee stirrer. These are also useful for all sorts of things like that. So every time I stir my coffee with one of these, I hang on to it, and yeah, it's going to take a while, but I'm going to pack this thing with grease all into that little you can't see it there, into that gap in there, and liberally grease the shaft as well. You can see that I've got one of the fibre washers already on there. The wheel will go on fibre washer, circlip, and then the little panel on the top, and put the blade back on and see if it runs. Well, hey, end is in sight. Thought you might want to see a crowning ceremony. We see it doesn't fit now. Come on, use my other hand. Beautiful. Wowee. Okay, that's a little bit better. Right, let me clean that off. Get the circlip and stuff onto that. This is a bit rocky, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's right. The mechanism underneath it is a little bit it isn't really held in place with anything. I would say it takes the tension of the belt to hold it all steady. But the triangular, the spring mechanism that it's sitting on isn't that steady. I'd call that a success. An eventual success, but a success. Let's get back going again. So, oops, not a very good angle. The light. There we go. All back together. Hurrah! Let's see how long it lasts. Then I'll give it a review.